Welcome along everybody. In the booth it says there, Rich Hagan and Frank Carsten, and they're not wrong. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you?
Fabulous and lovely as always. Milan Matull against Nico Bohny. Let's take a look. There you see the blackborder.com. It is Nico Bohny, and he is gearing up for his round 14 match.
There you get a look at him. As we just saw, he has a very interesting deck featuring lots of evasion creatures, as it turns out. And he's hoping to use these evasion creatures to good use with his exquisite blood. Starting off with a Wingcrafter, which can give even more evasion.
And Matull will arrive a mountain straight into play.
Oh.
It's Somber Wild Vigilante.
Sorry. Cheers, buddy. Thank you.
One of Frank Carsten's legion of fans coming by. Sign my playmat, Frank. We love you.
And that's what you make out of it.
Pretty much.
We love you. It's not something that I hear too much from my fans, but it's always nice to get some people and
coming to say hi.
No, for sure.
Okay, so pretty curvilicious early. We've got a 1 and a 2 drop out of Milan Matull. Bohny is attacking with Wingcrafter number 1.
Did he soul bond any of them? I don't think so. Nope. He's probably waiting until he can cast bigger creatures that he can bond with.
So Matull draws, has a look, because he is certainly representing being on the hunt for miracles. Lays land number 3.
Henry Lancer bonding with the Crypt Keeper, and now he's able to smash, and Nico Bohny cannot really block any of them. He would lose them either to the first strike or to the ability of the Somber Wild Vigilante if he would do that.
Yep. He has a 4th land which can turn on Searchlight Geist, but doesn't help him against first strike because he wouldn't get to deal the Death Touch damage.
So we see a Mist Raven coming down, probably clearing away the Henry Lancer and allowing him to swing in for some damage. He could attack with all of his creatures, dealing 4 damage, which is fine. Or he could also keep back a Wingcrafter, maybe hoping to block the Crypt Keeper if Milan would play something else than the Henry Lancer. But given that he knows that Henry Lancer is probably coming down even on turn 4, might as well swing in with the Wingcrafter. And our Wingcrafter is bonding with the Mist Raven, not really because Mist Raven needs flying, but to give the Wingcrafter the flying ability. And given that Milan doesn't have any flyers of his own yet, an entire flying team of blue and black creatures will allow Nico to put a lot of pressure on his opponent. So there we get a look at Milan Matull, who seems to be recasting Henry Lancer again and going into damage race mode.
So in with the Somber Wild Vigilante and the Crypt Creeper.
Bohny down to 13 life already, but Bohny still has the advantage so far.
And Matull, no 4th land.
Yep.
Bohny with more main phase action is going to pair up Butcher Ghoul with his 2nd Wingcrafter. That will enable the 2nd Wingcrafter to turn sideways. It is a serious flying army turning sideways.
Definitely. And on the next attack, Milan will already go to a very low life total, making it very difficult to come back from. Because Bohny has a Butcher Ghoul and an Alchemist Apprentice that can happily block some of Milan's creatures to allow Nico to stay at a healthy life total. Matull does find the fourth land, see if he can put that to good use, find some answer to Bohny's flyers. Pondering his place. I can't really see what he has in his hand. But he needs something. Looks like a thunderbolt, if I'm not mistaken, which is a start.
You're not mistaken. To be fair.
Yeah, with 4 in his deck.
He's got a card. What could it be? Is it a thunderbolt? He says without looking at the screen.
Yeah. Thunderbolt will allow Milan to take down possibly the Searchlight Geist or the Mist Raven or one of the Wingcrafters. But still, that would leave Nico with a lot of flying power in the air.
It's an interesting one with the Thunderbolt, isn't it? Because the Thunderbolts are obviously extremely good at whittling away Nico's Air Force. But equally, one at a time, is it ever going to be enough? And do you just go, yep, your flyers will beat me, let's just instead turn it functionally into incinerate you?
That's definitely a possibility. It's a lot of damage to the face, all in one card. And when your opponent has so many little flyers, killing off one is not really going to help.
And the thing is, you kind of have to kill the Wingcrafters, because they're the things that are going to come back as flyers with whatever's next.
Well, Milan had the option of, for example, not attacking with Henry Lancer, keeping it back, and then when, say, the Wingcrafter and the Mistraven would attack, he could use Thunderbolt at instant speed to shoot down Mistraven, breaking the bond and making sure that the Wingcrafter falls out of the sky,
crashes to the ground,
and allowing him to block with the Henry Lancer.
Sure.
But at this stage in the game, if he leaves back a creature like Henry Lancer, Nico will know something is up, because the only reason not to attack with it is if Milan has an instant speed removal spell for the Mistraven. So Nico is probably not going to fall for that.
To be fair, Nico doesn't fall for much. He's very good.
Butcher Ghoul, another one that also works. So now the Thunderbolt can perform the instant speed removal trick that I described.
Yes.
And it's not that suspicious because no creature has been left black to block. On the other hand, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's 8 power worth of flying damage in the air, because the Butcher Ghoul had blocked and came back with an extra counter.
Sure.
So Milan will have to basically deal with it in some way. He has to play the Thunderbolt to not die this turn.
So we're expecting that at the Mistraven? Is that where this goes?
I would guess so, yes.
Okay.
Could also be at the Butcher Ghoul for kind of mostly the same effect. If you do play it on Mistraven and Nico has Appeal from Reality or something, that's not something you're happy with. You don't want to give him another chance at the Mistraven. But overall, the Mistraven is a better card than the Butcher Ghoul because it's flying by itself, so might as well shoot that one down.
Yeah, so the Mistraven goes away, as you said. Away goes the pair. That means Wingcrafter, bonk, down on the ground. Butcher Ghoul blocks, comes back, counter. Pretty good result for Milan, but he's down to 3. Now.
Yeah, he will need another Thunderbolt to, well, I was gonna say stay alive, but maybe another Thunderbolt can just finish Nico off together with the next attack, actually.
Is he 1 shy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 7 on the table.
Yep. Yeah, if he has another Thunderbolt, he can put Nico down to 1.
Yeah. He's gonna.
But maybe he has something else.
Yeah.
At least he will need something. He either needs a lot of direct damage or a removal for the Ring Crafter. But if he does have removal for the Ring Crafter, then that will allow him to also block the Butcher Ghoul on the next turn. He might still take 2 damage from the Searchlight Geist, but he can survive that for a turn and actually win the damage race. So in goes the team. Bohny falls to 4 life. Let's see what Milan has up his sleeve.
1, 2, 3, 4. Or let's not see what he has up his sleeve. We get there in the end.
That's not a flyer, is it?
I think that's a Hound of
So
Grizzlebrand.
for 1 black mana, what's even in the set? Ooh, Human Frailty?
Oh
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if he has that, that's then he can. Oh, he does have it. Wow.
Does he?
Yep.
He does.
Yeah, shooting down the Windcrafter,
Wow.
making now the Butcher Ghoul loose flying, so he can block it with his creature.
Wow.
Wow. Is Milan going to win this game and survive at 1 life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you see him smiling. Well, saw him smiling. Anxiously awaiting what what Nico is going to do about it. Do you have
You're a pro.
a trick?
You're good. What are you doing?
Nico is thinking about what to do in response. Does he have a bounce spell?
Well, it looked to me like he had. I'm just having a quick check through his deck. Looked like he had a Ghoul Flesh and a land. Oof. Bohny just passes the turn. I think we're done. Bohny 4, Matull 1, but about to be 1-0 Matull. I think. Yes.
Yep.
There we are. Milan Matull of Germany takes the lead. That was a good one again.
That's definitely a good game. Anytime you are in like an intensive damage race and manage to win the game at 1 life remaining, you know it was a really tight game.
Yeah.
Really an excellent game of Magic. And also this game illustrated the power of instant speed removal spells in this format, where Soulbond plays a big role. Like the Soulbond of Wingcrafter was nullified twice in this match.
Yes.
And that's really huge. You suddenly go from I'm facing 3 power Bird of Flyers to, well,
Yep. It was
your guy dies.
It was
and
Prometheus flying too close to the sun. Pretty much.
Nice
Talking
one.
of Prometheus, looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's one of the movies I have high on my list to see this year.
Yes, absolutely.
I saw a trailer of it, and yeah, I was definitely curious to see what was gonna come out of that.
What they do from it, yeah.
Yep.
So, meanwhile, Milan Matull leads Nico Bohny 1-0. Let me bring you up to date with some of the scores on the board. Soren Larsson of Sweden this round, he was on 36 points playing against Matteo Versari of Italy on 34. So certainly the winner there will expect to be into the top 8. A couple of 33s paired up. Mario Angelopoulos of Greece against Oscar Almgren of Sweden. Patrick Thor of Sweden against John Westberg of Sweden. They were both on 33s. Samuel Listrati was on 34. That's due. I wonder whether that was an intentional ID in the last round against Matteo Versari. I think it might well be a compatriot's ID in that one. I think they were probably both at 11 and 2, 11 and 1, and then came in and chose to ID rather than potentially not one or the other back. Not sure about that. That's just my reading of the standings as they look.
Yeah, I'm not really sure which record you exactly need to make top 8
No,
here.
for sure.
Might be X21, might possibly also be X3, because there were not all that many players.
We'll do some math at the end of this round. We're hoping to see Nico Bohny at the end of this round. We've got some card combos from Frank coming up later in the show as well. Meanwhile, some more results. Benedikt Schlusser from Germany, he's playing Estrati. Here we're at 33 each. Frederick Persson up against Ferdinand Kichhofer of Germany. They're both on 33. Another 33 is Jasper Grimmer. He's up against Ben Paulmeyer, who we saw earlier on with the unfortunate Wolfir Silverheart episode that left him at 10-2. He's fallen to 10-3 and must now win his last two and see how his tiebreaks do. That said, if there are going to be 12 and 3s, he was 9-0. So that's a reasonable position for him to be in.
Yeah, definitely a great help for your tiebreakers if you start off with lots of wins at the beginning.
And then we have Ashraf Abu Omar of Germany against Thomas Westling of Sweden. They're both on 33, and they're kind of the people really in the hunt for the lock it up positions in the top 8. Wouldn't surprise me at all if 36s feel they can ID in the last round, but we'll look at the math. Meanwhile, we're good to go in game 2 of Milan Matull up against Nico Bohny, former team world champion from Switzerland and a Grand Prix champion 6 years ago now in Italy in Torino.
Milan had to take a mulligan to start things off, but Bohny kept his opening hand.
Yeah.
No players playing. Oh no, Milan is going for Lightning Mauler. Now that's an aggressive guy if I ever saw one.
Have you ever seen an aggressive guy?
This one.
Ah, there we are.
So Bohny, Turtland and
Ghoulflesh?
That works. That's a dead guy if I ever saw one.
Have you ever seen the dead guy?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's enough of that joke. They'll actually be banging their heads against their computer monitors.
Probably sorry.
I get letters about things like that. I actually do get letters, often written in blood. Soul Cage Fiend up next for Milan Matull.
And Bohny doesn't really have a lot in the way of early pressure so far. Yeah, a Wingcrafter on turn 4 and Searchlight Geist. Not pairing them up. Still waiting until he draws another ground creature to pair up with his Wingcrafter. That's really a nice feature of this Soulbond ability. You don't have to pair it immediately at the first possible opportunity. And there are definitely times, such as over here, where you're just better off waiting for a better creature to bond with.
So Bohny's going to offer the trade and say, yeah, sure, I'm quite happy with that. So both players lose 3.
Yep.
One thing that came out of that first game, there was no real indication to Bohny just how many Thunderbolts Milan had. We only saw one.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's not... Nico isn't going to be playing around a ton of direct damage, potentially.
True, and he might just, but still he saw one Thunderbolt, so he will be probably playing around at least one Thunderbolt. Maybe he will feel safe when at 6 life, and that might decide the game later on.
Sure.
But he knows at least some bolts are coming up. But typically, since he has a deck full of flyers, I'm guessing those bolts are going to be used to shoot down flying creatures more than anything. Nevertheless, Bohny must have been happy to trade off his 2-1 guy against a 3-2. It's definitely, even though his Searchlight Geist at flying, you don't want to be pressured by a 3-2 every turn, and just need to trade it off as quickly as possible. So Matull adds Keswick Malcontents to his board before attacking, just to he gives out some information, but he makes sure he can ping Bohny for 2 damage rather than waiting until after the attack when he might lose his Kroon Striker. Also this way the Kroon Striker got a little boost. Bohny trying to stay alive, so blocking the Kroon Striker. Still, a 2-1 is better than a 1-1, so might as well block. But he doesn't really want to trade his Griff Vanguard against Crypt Keeper in this position.
He wants to hit with it.
Yeah, that's And now another Ghoul Flash dealing with the Keswick Mel contents.
Yeah, Bohny's set up pretty well here. I mean, he's playing main deck 2 of his 3 Ghoul Flash, as we see.
Ooh, is Griff Vanguard a human? Apparently.
Griff Vanguard.
It doesn't seem like a human.
It's a human knight.
Okay.
See,
apparently humans can fly.
Well, the humans, the Vanguard, and he's on a Griff.
Ah, that makes sense.
And the Vanguard, there's lots of them, and they're part of the Griff Vanguard.
Okay.
We can do this for all day if you want, Frank. Gloom Surgeon in. Is that the Narstad Scrapper again?
It is.
I really struggle to see those artifacts. They're kind of a little gloomy on the monitor. I'm like, which one's that then? Yeah.
You know what's gloomy? The Gloom Surgeon.
Oh, yeah.
So even though Milan had the early aggression in this game, Nico Bohny is now getting back in it, having basically the better creatures at this point. And he's still at a reasonably healthy life total.
Yeah, and Somberwell Vigilante's not super exciting by any manner of means.
Yep.
It's the nature of the 1-drop.
Nico could have kept back his Gloom Surgeon to be able to block the Crypt Keeper, but he would not be able to block the Somberwald Vigilante profitably, since the ability would still shoot it down.
Yep.
And when he's putting his opponent down to a low life total, you might as well get in with your creatures and add the pressure. Milan now cannot just sit back with his creatures. He needs to answer at least the Narstad, the Scrapper, which is effectively a 6/3 monster. He can chump block it for a while, but he will need a permanent answer. Of course, if Milan has a bunch of Thunderbolts, he can try to go for a damage raise. So Fervent Catar coming down. Yeah, Milan doing the math now. He could keep back his creatures, try to trade for the Narstad Scrapper, but then he trades 2 of his guys for 1 of Nico's. He can also attack with, for example, his Crypt Keeper and his hasty creature, keeping back his 1/1 to do chump blocking. It's a damage raise plan, but then you put down Nico to only 7 to 7 life. Also not exactly exciting. So it seems he's only attacking with the Fervent Catar, leaving the Crypt Keeper and the Vigilante back to probably block Narstad Scrapper, but...
Oh, go away into the void.
That is not gonna work.
Smash.
And that's exactly 7.
Yeah, he put those in his graveyard, I noticed. That's not what happens. I mean,
oh, okay.
As you know, if the game was going to continue, we might have put a stop to that. That's
Sure.
not what Into the Void does.
No.
4 mana, kill 2 guys, not quite. But functionally, that's what it amounted to, because there were no longer of any relevance. The game was done, and it's 1/1.
Yeah, Into the Void can functionally be removal for 2 creatures if the game just ends at that very turn, as also happened in this game.
Sure, and I think it was interesting at the pre-release, talking to some newer players who had sort of, when I say grown up with, they had sort of started out with core sets where removal is very intuitive. Like, a Doomblade really kind of says precisely what's going on, and when you use it, something that it kills is dead. It's pretty, you know, there's not a lot of room for misunderstanding Doomblade. And certainly some of the inexperienced players were saying, I don't understand where the removal is. And there are a bunch of guys at the store at Chimera in Nottingham who've played a bunch on the Pro Tour. Not, you know, at some fantastic high level, no Pro Tour top 8s or anything, but they've been around. And they're very much a very good community there at the store. And they sort of said to the new players, so here's the thing. Every set has removal. Every set ever has removal. It's just you have to work out what this time the definition of removal is. And sometimes a card that reads 2 and a blue, tap target creature, it doesn't untap during your opponent's next untap step, draw a card, is removal.
Functionally removal, at least, if
Yeah.
the games go quickly enough, and
that's
you
right.
are able to finish off your opponent
Yeah,
quickly.
and so, yes, very situational. But when you work out how many Doomblades there are, or how many Fireballs, then you work out how far down the chain of Crippling Chill, Defang, Snare the Skies, how many of those are removal when it comes to it. Because sometimes it's very hard to make the leap from the words on a Doomblade to the words on a Snare the Skies, and understand that in certain situations what they're both going to do is say, I've spent a card and your creature is dead, which as far as I can see is a pretty good working definition for removal.
Absolutely, and even with a card like Crippling Chill, it might as well, in the right situation, in the right deck, might as well read, I'm a Doomblade, oh, and draw a card. And same here, Into the Void, hey, I'm 2 Doomblades.
Yeah.
And I also even work on black guys.
Yay!
Like overall, I get the feeling that if you draft blue in this format, you have cards like Crippling Chill, Appeal from Reality, Into the Void. You are quickly pushed into kind of a tempo game, and also when you are playing against a blue deck, you should always be careful of all the bounce spells that are going around, because as we saw in this game, out of nowhere you can just lose some of your creatures back to your hand, leaving you unable to block.
Before we get into the final game, I just wonder if we could get our tech guy to show us a picture of Milan Matull again, because we have our international hat expert, Richard Miller, on hand. And I've got to ask you, Richard, that hat is killing me, because I know it's some kind of famous thing. It's like a 1970s baseball cap or something. I want to know, what is that? Describe. Fashion moment with Richard Miller, King of Hats.
I mean, when I look at that hat, it just reminds me of 30 Rock, the guy that has the hat that has the words on it.
Yeah.
That has a different word, but that's just a hat right there.
Oh, dagger.
It's a nice hat.
The man who knows everything about hats, it's just a hat. Right, game. Show me the game. We're underway. You were useless. I brought you in as an expert, damn it.
Sorry.
So we're underway. Crew and striker opposite Butcher Ghoul.
Yep, Milan was on the play, and basically every time you play a crew and striker, you never want to see a Butcher Ghoul on the other side of the table,
Indeed.
because it is a card that will trade against your 2-drop and then leave a 2/2 standing.
That next play, though, from Milan is quite interesting, because against a deck full of flyers and potential flyers, Angelic Armaments is a reusable source of creating flyers.
True, but Nico is not going for the flyer plan this game. He's on tandem lookout. And yeah, Milan is not happy about it, but he will have to get through the Butcher Ghoul at some point. And well, you might as well block it right now to deny Nico the card that he might draw off the tandem lookout. But Nico must be feeling good at this point. In a great position with tandem lookout and the 2/2 Butcher Ghoul in play. If Milan will stumble and does not have any blockers or removal for the tandem lookout, he's just gonna crush him.
I like the way you did that. There was a certain ruthless glee to, he's just going to crush him.
It's sometimes how games of Magic go.
Yeah.
Ghoul Flash on the Vigilante. Yeah, Milan really needs an instant speed removal for the tandem lookout. He doesn't have it, and he's in a pretty bad spot at this point. Nico just drawing cards like there's no tomorrow, and Ledge Seeker as well. So Milan apparently did not have removal for the tandem lookout, otherwise he would have played it. He played only a 1/1 for 1 mana on turn 4. So what does he have in his hand? Yeah, Keswick Malcontents also not exactly helping him at this point. Well, Possibly, if Nico does not have another way to kill it, Milan might be able to block and trade against a tandem lookout, giving him some time. But Nico wisely does not attack with his tandem lookout. He just leaves it back, because trading it against the Keswick malcontents is not really a play that he would be happy about. He would be fine trading his Butcher Ghoul with Keswick malcontents, and if that happens, he would just play another creature that he can then soulbond with his tandem lookout with.
So Bohny came into the day at 7-2. There you see Griff Vanguard. He went 8-2, 9-2, 10-2. Redrafted, completely different archetype. Well, let's face it, everything's different to the archetype he had in the first place, as we see Thunderbolt take out Griff Vanguard. But then 11-2. Now, potentially, he's on the verge of 12-2, 5 straight wins, and maybe an ID into the top 8.
Yeah, Milan must have been thinking, finally a flyer. Come on, you had all these flyers in the first couple of games, and I've been sitting here with this Thunderbolt waiting and waiting. Finally.
And when it's Griff Vanguard, Nico gets the card back and Milan doesn't.
Yep.
Oh, go away.
So Milan checking into the void. Yeah, what does it say exactly?
It's up
to 2 target creatures. So you can decide to only return 1 and leave all of your guys there to attack.
More human frailty.
Still taking a lot of damage, down to 6, which is basically 2 attacks of Ledge Seeker. Milan will have to come up with an answer to that quickly.
Oh, it looks like Bohny's in such good shape here. That Angelic Armaments is going to be way too slow. Keswick Malcontents doesn't have enough mana to equip. There's a Latch Seeker about to hit for 3. Milan will go to 3. Or it could be even worse. Is this it? We've got Ghoul Flesh for Keswick Malcontents. Milan looks at 1 card, says sure. Bohny looks at a hand of what looks like 1,000,000 cards. I think it's more like 5, but it'll feel like 1,000,000.
Yeah,
Plays a land.
Those early draws of the Tandem Lookout made sure that he would keep enough good cards to play throughout this entire game.
And now we finally see the life swing card, sort of quasi giving everything lifelink. Exquisite Blood.
Yeah, but at this point in the game, it's not really a big of a deal. Like, Milan looks at the card and thinks, Exquisite Blood, okay, that's a card that doesn't kill me. I'm at 1 life. I'm afraid of cards that kill me. Exquisite Blood, I can survive for now.
Yeah.
It's the creatures that are giving me troubles.
Yeah. My daughter saw the picture on Exquisite Blood and went, someone's eating someone's arm off. It's like, okay, I know what that one does now. And there you go, Nico Bohny wins. The Tandem Lookout, incidentally, Frank, just to fill you in, it died to human frailty because the Tandem Lookout, there's 2 of them. They're up in the branches of a tree and they're human and they're sort of looking out, and that's why they're the